Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Vision Podcast. We are your hosts, Jordan
and Christian.
Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of dope things. Isn't that right, Christian?
Yeah, I think so. We got some good shit to talk about.
Yeah.
Don't we always, though?
We do, and hopefully the people like it. And if they don't,
I hope they find something they do like, but
yes.
More on that later. First of all, it's been a while since we talked about anything other than the boys. We became like super obsessed, which is fine. But
by the way, we're done.
Yeah, well, we're not done with the show, but we're done. We're back to normal shit. You know, we're back to talking about normal stuff now.
Yes.
So, are there any things kind of in general on your? I know we were talking a little bit about like. We always talk about music and stuff together, but we were talking a little bit about, is there, I don't know, anything new or what have you that you've been listening to or anything like that you would like to plug or anything?
Not really listening to anything new. I'm just kind of going back to old school records and just kind of getting inspiration from that.
I got you.
All that kind of stuff. A little bit of Stevie Wonder.
Okay, wow. So they're going school. Okay, cool.
A little bit of Stevie Wonder, a little bit of Snoop Dogg.
Okay, I wouldn't really say he's old. He's kind of old school.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still listen to like the Beatles and Elvis and stuff, so take that as you will. But what actually that I wanted to ask, because you're like a big fan of Genesis, right?
Ooh, Genesis 2. Phil Collins, shout out.
Yeah, he needs a fucking shout out from us.
He does. Phil Collins, if you're listening to this, I'm a big fan.
For all of you 7 subscribers, if you aren't familiar with the band Genesis, check into. They're good. There's some good there. Yeah. Yes. One thing I wanted to talk about is how a lot of artists have acclimated to the current climate where they can't perform live, right? So a lot of artists that would be on tour are now doing these things where they're having live concerts for people.
Yeah.
That I've really been digging that. Are there any artists that you know of that have been doing anything like that?
My man KB.
Okay.
He's been doing a lot of live, obviously online live concerts.
Sure.
It's different.
Yeah.
Because, normally, as an artist, you basically kind of feed off of everyone's, obviously in a normal setting, like at a normal concert, you feed off of everyone's energy.
100%.
But you're just feeding off of no one's energy, and you're just hoping that, you're doing a good job, and you're basically doing it in front of a camera, basically.
I know exactly what you mean. So something that I've been really digging is, I think in was it October 15th or something? No, it was, I don't know, earlier this month. All Time Low started doing this live stream session of concerts, which they recorded back in July, called Basement Noise, which is the ending song of their newest record that they released earlier this year. But regardless. So it's really cool because the first one that they did, it was an entire playthrough of the newest record they released, which they've never done anything like that, but it was a live playthrough.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. And then after that, they had every 2 weeks, I think it is, they're releasing a different session where one of the band members picked the set list. So
interesting.
It is, because you can get some, and I don't think any of them are allowed, for lack of a better way to put it, to pick the same songs that have been like that another member picked. Because when they were talking about it, Alex said he was kind of mad at Ryan when he picked the set list, because he's like, fuck, man, like these are a lot of songs I was gonna pick. So
man, why are you taking away my stuff?
Exactly. But man, it was rad, and it's pretty dope seeing this kind of thing happen. I don't really know how to put it. Well, it's funny for me because So I mentioned this before, but I have never actually been to a live concert of at least any of the of bands that I like really like. So for me, it's kind of like, well, this is how I've always watched concerts. This is just how it's always been for me. This isn't really that much different, but it's dope because like what's funny though, because you talk about like the live energy and stuff. There's a lot of like kind of bantering with the audience and with each other that kind of happens more in the live setting. It's not happening that much on the live show. And then you have one of the things I really love is when artists like stop and let the crowd sing, and you just hear everyone like, that's just really cool to me. And you don't get that in this setting. But overall, man, it's really dope. It's really cool.
It is.
I do like it overall, very much so.
And actually, back to have you been listening to anything new?
Yeah.
Back then, I was not a listener of this man at all. But lately, I've been listening to a lot of Justin Bieber, a lot of his current stuff.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm kind of digging like "Holy," his song "Holy" with Chance the Rapper. "Lonely," which is actually like. I don't know about you, but for me...
You're feeling 22?
No. God, jeez. Get out. No, but Lonely, basically, him as, he's just basically reflecting on his life when he was a young kid.
Yeah.
Getting all that fame and all that money.
Right.
You just, kids don't know what to do with that kind of stuff.
Of course.
And, him just reflecting on his childhood and saying, it was lonely. I'd never had anyone to talk to, be like, hey, I'm just a kid. Could you help me out with all this money and all this paparazzi and all that kind of stuff? And it's just really cool. It really kind of brings you into a different perspective. Like, I've been really digging his current music so far. And like I said earlier, back in the day, I have never listened to him at all.
Right.
Like Baby, oh my gosh.
Well, that was that was the song that like kind of made him infamous. It's funny because I remember when I first heard it, I've mentioned this to you before, I think, but like I legitimately thought that it was a girl singing when I first heard it. I have an interesting, I guess, dynamic with how I view kind of Justin Bieber as an artist and as a person. I don't really know anything about him as a person, right? But I never because I was because of my hair, I was always compared to Bieber. People would always be like, "You look like Justin Bieber." Like, yeah, I've never heard that one before. Never.
Either that or Drake Bell. Like,
real that
funny.
one I appreciated. That one was actually intentional, so I'll take that. But yeah. But Bieber was always, one time I got, a few times I've gotten like John Lennon and other Beatles members and stuff. So those are always appreciated. I've gotten Roy Orbison before too, but
back in the day, I was mistaken for Ron Weasley.
I've gotten Ron Weasley before too.
In school, especially in middle school. I had the same kind of haircut Ron Weasley did in the Harry Potter series, and I was literally. Actually, at a restaurant with my mom and dad, I was eating dinner with them, all that kind of stuff, and the waitress came up and she's like, "Oh my gosh, can I have an autograph?" I'm like, "What?" They
didn't actually think you were Rupert Grint, did they?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Legitly.
That's weird.
I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Aren't you Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley?" I'm like,
"Yeah, they probably didn't call you."
No. And they're like, "Oh, well, you look a lot like him." I'm like, "Is it because of the haircut?" And she's like,
kind of. Color.
I'm like, okay, cool, but I don't know what to say about this. And she's like, oh, well, I'm kind of feeling awkward too. I'm like, yeah, well, same here. And she kind of left. Never saw her again. So, yeah, no, I've been mistaken for Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley.
It's funny that you say that because it leads to Harry Potter in a way, or from Harry Potter. So the actors Daniel Radcliffe, who of course played Harry Potter, Tobey Maguire, who played Spider-Man, in the 2000 Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
Legit.
And Elijah Wood, who I don't know Lord of the Rings, so I don't know. Did he play Frodo or Bilbo Baggins? Is it Frodo? Frodo, okay, that's what I thought. They all look, a lot of people think they look alike, to the point where they have actually signed each other's autographs. Like, a kid will come up to them and be like they'll come up to Dan O'Rourke and be like, oh, I love Spider-Man. You're the guy. He's like, yeah, and he signs Tobey Maguire and, like, shit like that. And it's funny, because...
Frodo Baggins.
Yeah, and it's funny because a similar thing actually happened with... you remember the artist Jesse McCartney, right?
Yeah.
So there's this story where... bring it back to Drake Bell, you mentioned a minute ago. He was at a mall. I don't know if he was performing, or if he was just in the mall like a regular person. But he was. This kid came up to him and he's like, "Oh, you're the guy." And he's like, "Oh yeah, the kid knows me from like Drake and Josh or whatever, like whatever, like yeah, I'll." And he's like, "You're Jesse McCartney," and he's like.
No.
Okay, no, he just went along with it. Oh. And so he signed at Jesse McCartney.
What
he's like, will you sign? Dude. And he's like, yeah, sure, dude. Okay. Like, that's so rad to me. I like when artists can do shit like that. And to know that, like...
and it actually shows that they're kind people.
Well, yeah, of course.
Like,
I mean...
kid, I ain't Jesse McCartney, get out of here, like...
Yeah, to turn someone down like that would just be dickish. But, like, but I just love the idea, especially with fucking... Toby, Daniel, and Elijah. Like, that's just incredible to me. It's really funny. But speaking about that, I know this is going to be, we're going to get into some controversial questions here, but now I'm curious. We've spoken about this a little bit before. Obviously, we've spoken about superheroes and we love them. Favorite live-action Spider-Man? We're going to rustle some feathers. Here we go. Let's do it. I'm down.
Challenge accepted. So, honestly, and it's not because like, oh, he's the OG, yada yada, but I gotta say, Tobey Maguire, he was obviously the first Spider-Man that I saw, and so he just kind of stuck it with me. But Andrew Garfield, he was like he was too attractive. to be like...
You don't think Tom Holland is? Like, hell, I don't know. To me, I thought they're all... I don't know. I thought they're all... I'd fuck him. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, that took a turn. Jeez Louise. People, sign off right now.
No, they're my celebrity free pass. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, gosh, jeez. But,
celebrity hall pass, it's called. Go on.
Gosh. Okay. No, but, he was just... Like, in my opinion...
Yeah.
Peter Parker / Spider-Man, obviously, he's supposed to be nerdy, like,
right.
Like, nerds aren't, or at least back in the day, I thought nerds aren't supposed to be super attractive. They're like,
right.
They're like very very bookworm.
Yeah.
A lot of science stuff, but like, I don't know, like Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. He was kind of like, he made like one or two jokes, but other than that, he wasn't very. But as a Peter Parker, just as Peter Parker, he was fun. He looked nerdy and Toby. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, he was more. He'd make a lot more jokes.
Right.
He's very witty. But as Peter Parker, he was too attractive to be a nerd. It was like he was one of those cool nerds. You know what I'm saying? Very hipster, all that kind of jazz.
Well, that's the thing. He wasn't really a nerd. He was a hipster. But the thing is, he was kind of so here's the thing. First of all, one of the things. By the way, I wanted to point this out real quick. The first I looked this up because I knew it wasn't Tobey Maguire. The first live-action Spider-Man was a gentleman by the name of Nicholas Hammond. He played Spider-Man in 1977.
Oh, the old school.
Yeah. So like, that was the first live action. Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing, but
so the second.
But I know he wasn't the second one either. There was like a Japanese and all these other different things.
I saw clips of that.
Yeah,
and it's very like. Well, I'd rather watch a worm climb up a tree than watch that.
Know, it's it's interesting. It's an interesting piece of history in my opinion. But anyways, But Spider-Man in general, I mean, okay, so first of all, extremely biased here. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so I have a lot to say about the dude.
In my downtime, I go thwip, and I pretend I'm climbing on walls.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was like 13, 14, 15, I would literally like walk up to like my kitchen wall.
Yeah.
And like literally.
Yeah.
Pretend.
Right.
I was such a loser. Pretend I'd be climbing, and then I would like.
I think everyone did things like that, especially as a kid. But what's funny is, so you get the what am I thinking of here?
But Tom Holland, he was a good balance of nerdy Peter Parker,
sure,
and then witty Spider-Man.
Right. Well, so here's the thing for me. Now, yes, of course, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was the first like live action Spider-Man I saw that I knew of in 2002. Which, fun fact, by the way, I don't know why this is but it's a fact about like my childhood or whatever.
Yeah.
I was terrified of that movie because of the Green Goblin. I couldn't watch it.
Really?
For years. Yeah.
Really?
I couldn't. It's funny. I actually saw in its entirety. I saw Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man. No, I think I just saw Spider-Man 2, and then I saw Spider-Man 1 a couple years later before I
bro,
finished
you
Spider-Man.
need to go through the whole...
Oh, I did. I have many times now, but when I was a kid, I was I was like, 6 years old? Green Goblin scared me, man. It's a PG-13 movie. Which that actually is a fun fact. So in England, PG-13, kids still couldn't get in to see movie unless they were that age. Like, it didn't matter if they had a parent or whatever. Like, if they weren't the age the movie was for, they weren't allowed to see it. Until Sony constantly kept bribing the British government to allow kids to see Spider-Man.
Good old Sony.
And
bribing people.
But anyway, so yes, okay, so Tobey Maguire is my favorite as far as the live action characters go, or Spider-Man go. And here's what I will say about that real quick. You say, and I hear all the time, like, yes, and I've made the argument before and will continue to, the fact that he made a better Peter Parker. He didn't make that great of a Spider-Man. However, I think that is largely to do with the script he was given and the writing of the movies, because in the video games, the tie-in video games for each of the Sam Raimi movies, he had some pretty good lines, and not the best delivery, but pretty good overall. For example, he'd say things like one of the things that always like sticks out. One of the things, but his delivery was very dry. Was the unfortunate thing. But there was like this mission that can come up where it's like a side quest thing around the city where they're like, what do they say? They're like, they say like this gang has captured a psychic, come save it. And as you're going to rescue him, he says like, must not be too good of a psychic if he got kidnapped, because you're supposed to be able to like see the future and shit. Anyway, but in general, they had I don't know. In my opinion, in some ways the games were better than the movies. The Sam Raimi, because they had more world building and more time being Spider-Man going on. Of course,
I played a lot of the Spider-Man 3 game.
Oh, okay? Because I know Spider-Man 2 is the one everyone raves about, which it is really good. Don't get me wrong. Everyone does love Spider-Man 2 for a reason, but it's not. It's funny because like Spider-Man 2, the movie and the game are like what is in many people's eyes the best superhero experience. I think that's changed now, more with like, now that we've had things like The Dark Knight and the Batman Arkham games and the Sony Marvel Spider-Man game. That's fucking amazing. But regardless, so anyway, but Tobey does, I think Tobey plays a good enough job when he's given more to work with. But in general, yes, he makes a good Peter Parker, not that great of a Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, he makes a good Spider-Man, not that great of a Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate what they did with his character to change him around enough, because you don't want to have him be the exact same character as like what he was just a couple years ago. Now, Tom Holland. Here's my thing on Tom Holland. I think he's a perfectly fine actor. I think he does a perfectly good job with what he's given. I have nothing against Tom Holland as a person or an actor or anything like that, or even his portrayal of Spider-Man. I just hate how they write him. His delivery and everything is perfectly fine. I just hate the lines that they give him and everything else that they give him, because like for example, I really, really hate the movie. Not the movie, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, yeah, my least favorite Spider-Man movie is 100% Spider-Man Homecoming. I cannot stand that movie.
I liked it. It was all right.
I would rather watch Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
See, a lot of people didn't like Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I'm like...
And even more people didn't like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Which...
Why? Like, they're all fun.
Well, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was... It kind of had a lot of the same problems Spider-Man 3 had, but worse.
I mean, I thought they were perfectly fine. I mean, sure, I didn't like in Spider-Man 3 where, Tobey Maguire went kind of down the dark side path.
Oh, I loved that.
No.
Because it's such an integral, part of his character. And I really like the way they handled it, because, there's a great movie reviewer that I highly recommend. There's a bunch of great movie reviewers I could recommend, but one of the best on this stuff is High Top Films. He does really good breakdowns of the Raimi films, and he's working right now on at the time of this recording, on the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. But he one of the things he does is he kind of defends Spider-Man 3 a little bit, and I've seen other people do this too, because the concept of this idea that at the end of Spider-Man 2, Peter basically gets everything that he wanted. He finally is with Mary Jane, and he's doing well enough at his job. He's doing well enough in school. He's found that balance between Spider-Man, and the city loves him. The city loves Spider-Man at this point. So it's you get to see this character, what happens when Peter Parker is basically given too much power. Not even too much physical power, because he already had physical power as Spider-Man, but too much social and everything else. Yeah. He lets it go to his head because he doesn't know how to handle this. So when he lets it go to his head, and he's not there for Mary Jane. He doesn't understand her problems. He's very oh yeah, but me, I'm so great, basically. And then he kisses Gwen Stacy at the thing. Yeah. All those different things. When those things happen, you see this character of this Spidey's really got some chinks in his armor. He's not a perfect person. He's not even a perfect superhero. But that's one of the things I love about him, because he's so relatable. That's the key. Yeah. If you were to boil down the key thing of Spider-Man, or the key word of his, what encapsulates him, he's relatable. He's a relatable superhero.
He's so relatable.
That's the funny thing is people talk about how the portrayal of, as we have raved about already, the characters in The Boys, how they're all they're assholes with superpowers. I don't think necessarily most people would be assholes per se. I think a lot of people, because, and this is true in the comics as well, when Spidey first gets his powers, he's all for himself, right? Yeah. It's not until he has the realization of, oh shit, people can get hurt like my uncle, and I have this ability to stop them. I have this ability to do what other people can't do.
Then that's when he realizes, I have to stop doing me and start doing the people.
Yeah, start helping other people out 100%. And that's part of my problem with you get that with both Tobey Maguire and with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, at least to an extent, enough of an extent. With Tom Holland's character, what real he doesn't have any problems. Everything gets handed to him. He even got, granted he turned it down, but he even got the special high-tech Spider-Man suit again.
And he was offered at a position
with the Avengers.
Exactly. Yeah. When obviously he wasn't ready, and it was good when he's no, I'm gonna stay on the ground, look out for the little guy. Basically, no, I want to keep.
He's gonna be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's that I like. But, okay, so you have, again, for example, the thing about, he goes on this super expensive trip in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, yeah, Far From Home, yeah.
Where he goes on this super expensive trip to Staten Island. There's no mention at all of his financial problems. One of the key things about Peter Parker is he's always fucking struggling. One of the important things of his character is that he's Spider-Man, in spite of all the shit that it puts Peter Parker through.
Yeah.
And this is why, and I know you and I, for some reason, I don't think you've seen the show enough, but my favorite portrayal of Spider-Man outside of comics or anything, probably just in general, is the 2008 TV series Spectacular Spider-Man. Because there are so many scenes where he has the ability to do things like give up his powers, look the other way, all these different things where he just can't, he can choose to not do the right thing. Oh, yeah. But he decides to push on. And one of the great things, for example, was he had an antidote, the same antidote that he gave the Lizard. This is in episode 3, I think, of Spectacular Spider-Man. He gave, yes, I love Spider-Man. He gave,
if you guys haven't already,
if you haven't already figured it out, he gives the Lizard an antidote, which turns him back to normal.
Yeah.
And he has another capsule of the antidote that he's going to take, and he goes to take it, and he's telling himself, like, you know, what do I get for all this? A broken arm, a missed curfew, friends that hate me, and or friends that think I'm scum, and all these different things. And he's like, one bad luck, one bad bite. I drink this and I make it all go away. And then I can't remember what he saw, but he just thought, and he was like, but I saved him. I was there for him. I brought the Lizard back to Dr. Connors, and he was able to be with his family again. And what he does is he puts the thing away, he throws it under the bed, webs it like right under the bed, and he's like, so what if no one threw a parade? Yeah. You know, like, Spider-Man stays because Spider-Man's needed. And that I'm getting chills just thinking about this. Certain things,
me too,
like,
I'm like,
creeds and stuff that superheroes have, and heroes in general, I really love. Like, I've told you before, like, my favorite, like, that's one of my favorite moments of Spider-Man, or the moment I relate to so much, where he's in Spider-Man 2, where he's like looking outside the window when it's raining, and he says, "Am I not supposed to have what I need, what I want?" That always strikes a chord with me. I feel that way so fucking much. But that, and then but you know, the character of Spider-Man is such a good character, and I just love so much about, and his resilience. Like, no matter how bad it gets, he's gonna keep fighting on and shit like that. He
always gets back up. Yeah.
Which is why, and this is an aside, I'll probably rant about how much I love Sonic the Hedgehog's character another day. But I really love, because he has a similar line where in Sonic and the Black Knight, where he's getting beat within an inch of his life, characters tell him basically to turn back and different shit. And he basically says, you know, I don't care about, like, basically, you know, if this is wise or whatever, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to fight head on still. And if I die in the process, fuck it, you know?
So be it, yeah.
Like, you know, I'm going to do what I need to do, you know? I love that concept of superheroes and that will to keep fighting. And
yeah. See, my favorite scene, is it Spider-Man 2 where they introduce Doc Ock?
Yeah, when they introduce, you know, when he's in the hospital?
Yeah.
When he becomes Doc Ock?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you about that scene in a minute.
Yeah, so, you know, when basically Doc Ock steals Mary Jane, you know, when Peter and Mary Jane are having that
that's like one of the last scenes with him. But go on.
Yeah, no, so when they're having, you know, lunch or whatever, Doc Ock comes and basically like kidnaps Mary Jane.
Yeah.
And he's like, come to this tower at this time, whatever. Or Spider-Man comes, and they start brawling out, man. They're throwing kicks and punches.
Yeah.
And, you know, long story short, you know, Doc Ock breaks the acceleration thing off the train. Train is just going, you know, can't be stopped. And, you know, Spider-Man's on front of the train, and he's like, all right, how the hell do I stop? I mean, he starts webbing up the buildings, and he's like, oh my, and he faints, obviously. People catch him, you know, they're kind of, you know, basically pulling him into the train, set him on the ground, and that's when he had his mask off, and, you know, everyone kind of gathers around him, and this one guy's like, oh my gosh, he's a kid, he's my son's age.
Just the fucking,
like, I don't know, it's like, you know, people thought he was like a grown man. You know?
He was.
Like he was in his 30s or something.
He was.
No, the character.
Peter Parker. I know. But it's
but they're like, wow, he's just a kid. You know, Spider-Man's just a kid.
The one thing, and life is a nightmare. The one thing that I will give Tom Holland's Spider-Man is he looks the part. At least he looks the part of Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. But here's the thing. Even as a kid, when I saw that scene, and they were like, "Oh, he looks like a kid." No. I was like, "The fuck? He's a grown adult. What are you talking about?" Like, you know, I understand, like, you know, suspension of disbelief and all those different things, and that's all well and good. But it was always weird to me. But no, that scene, where he's giving it all, and
literally just as saying, like everyone thought, you know, Spider-Man was like a grown-ass man, and then in that scene, everyone's like, "Oh shoot, he's just a kid. Spider-Man's a kid. Like, the heck?" And he sits up, and little kids are like, "We won't tell you."
Yeah, we won't tell nobody.
And he doesn't even talk. He's like,
"Yeah,
what's his mask?"
He probably can't talk, to be honest. He's probably still like just out of it that he.
Yeah,
but another, you know, there are so many
freaking limbs apart.
There are so many good scenes in Spider-Man 2, and so many good lines. Like, another one is where he comes to Harry, who's like, no, I'm sorry, that's in maybe that's in Spider-Man 3. But the one, no, when he's like tied up from Harry, and he like breaks out of the things, which is funny that he thought that was gonna hold him, because like the dude's got super strength or whatever.
For real, like.
But you know, and he says there are bigger things happening than you and me. I don't know. To me, things like that just like little things, but like it hits me in such a way. It makes me feel some kind of way, you know. But in a very positive way. I don't know. I could go on and on about how much I love Spider-Man, and I can tell you the things that I hate about certain things they've done with Spider-Man, like in the comics. Like, you and I were talking about the atrocious One More Day comics, right? Where he you know, in the Civil War storyline, where he gives up his secret identity because of the, oh god, what's it called? The Suburbia Accords or something like? No, not Suburbia. Sokovia. The Sokovia Accords. Because basically a mutant goes like too far and ends up hurting people and shit. And they're like, "Oh, superheroes need to be registered and can't be superheroes," basically. Yeah. And Spider-Man is one of the people that's on board with this, gives up his identity and all these different things. And Kingpin finds out, puts a hit on him, the hitman ends up shooting Aunt May. And I know this is where you and I differ. So there are two comic storylines that I like really dislike, I guess, with Spider-Man. It's this, and then it's the comic line Spider-Man Reign. But Spider-Man Reign is like a what if kind of thing, and it was trying to capitalize off of the success of Batman Dark Knight Returns. But One More Day is just, it's so fucking terrible, because you have this character of Spider-Man, and because it's literally like the first, I think, 3 or 4 issues, he gets not even the actual black suit, but because he finds out that Aunt May was, you know, killed in all these different, or not killed, but she was shot, she's in the hospital bed. He puts on not the actual black suit, but like just a cloth version of the black, just a black, you know, it looks like the black suit, but it's not the symbiote.
Yeah.
And he which is my favorite suit, by the way. I love the symbiote suit. But anyway, he goes on this rampage where he, like, I will say there are some cool things that came out of it, like when he beats Wilson Fisk within an inch of his life. That was really cool. He goes and he basically he goes on this rampage of just not killing, but beating,
laying the smackdown.
Yeah, just laying the smackdown on people, because he does the same thing with Tony Stark and like all these different things. And he kind of like reverts a little bit back to normal, and he's walking through this park. And he comes across this girl who says she can help him and these different things. And he goes to this place with her. I think it's in like a back alley, which is such a great... Well, she like runs from him. Oh,
yeah, and he
like,
follows.
He's like, wait, let me help you kind of thing. Or, you know, being the hero that he is. And she transforms into what this character called Mephisto, which is the Marvel's version of the devil. And he basically tells him... Okay, I will give you your Aunt May's life back, but you have to give up one thing. And he's like, well, what is it? I'll give anything. And he ends up...
people.
Yeah. He ends up they say, well, I want you to give up your marriage with Mary Jane. And not just get divorced, but make it so that the marriage never fucking happened. So I have a lot of problems with this. First of all, I like the idea of why Mephisto wants the marriage to end so much, because he says it's the most... Well, he says it's the most, like, pure thing I've ever seen. What you guys have is really special, and all this shit.
What about other people that got married, or the other Spiros that got married? How about them?
Well, I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. Spider-Man and MJ for the win. But anyway, or Peter and MJ for the win, whatever. And then he does it, he goes through with it, and later the demon reveals himself to be, he's like, okay, we're gonna go through with this, and he tells him, like, in the last, like, moment thing, is like, the girl that I was before I transformed into this, that's the daughter you were going to have. Ooh. So you gave this up too.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And then it ends in this thing where Peter and MJ have, like, a final embrace with each other and different things, and everything gets set back to basically when he was in college before he met her, where he's living with Aunt May again. He's basically like a kid again, and it's like, no, you made so much progress with this character from 1960. Well, he was created in 1962, but that was Amazing Fantasy 15. He got his own comic series in 1963. So technically, from 1962 all the way to, like, 2007, 2008, I can't remember when the atrocity of One More Day happened. But I'm just like,
you really don't like this story.
Oh, I hate this fucking story so much, because not only does it ruin one of the key things of Spider-Man, like his relationship with MJ, but also, like, it takes out Spider-Girl. Spider-Girl's not in it anymore because of that, and it also it makes him a fucking kid again. He's Spider-Man, not Spider-Kid.
Well, you should go tell him that.
Like, let him fucking grow up. And maybe that's a little bit of my problem with not Tom Holland playing Spider-Man, but the way that they make him be and everything. Because, yes, Spider-Man's he starts as a kid and everything. That's great. But when let him be an adult. Like, let the character be an adult. You don't constantly reset him like this. Like, this is stupid. I mean, like, Batman has a kid. He has Damian Wayne.
All the reboots of Batman, like, jeez.
You mean with the movie reboots?
Yeah.
Or you mean that's another thing.
Give it a rest. Oof. Seriously.
Well, that's
like this new Batman with what's his face?
Patrick. Wait, is it Patrick?
I
think it's Patrick.
Something Peterson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, it's like,
because he's
it's like there was a picture shown on Facebook, like a leaked set image. The suit is literally the same thing as the Dark Knight suit, that kind of stuff. Except it's more. It's like it has like. It's like cloth. It's not really kind of like armory. It's just cloth, and it's literally the same except real skinny. And it's
Well, here's the thing. The movie is going to be called The Batman that he's doing, and which, by the way, real quick, I love the Batman animated series from, like, 2004 to 2000. Well, how many times they're going to... It's like the same thing they're doing with Spider-Man, right? You had Spider-Man, and then you have the Amazing Spider-Man, and then now you have, Spider-Man Far From?
The thing is...
Or the Home, Spider-Man Home? Is that what this new series is?
But see, the thing is... Yes. They're playing... That's actually the reason, because I was like, I'm really interested about this Spider-Verse thing that they're trying to... come to life.
I keep hearing isn't canon, but go on.
And I've looked, and it's from the director, the film director that did Spider-Man: Homecoming, the new rebooted Spider-Man. He's like, I've met with, Sam Raimi and the director of the Amazing Spider-Man, and they all that's the reason why they rebooted. Because for the longest time, I was like, oh my gosh, Spider-Man's rebooted again. We got to see Uncle Ben die again. Thank goodness Spider-Man Homecoming didn't do the same freaking thing. Uncle Ben dying a third time.
But they don't even acknowledge it. They act like it never happened.
Kind of.
To the point.
I mean, it's more like, I don't want to...
No, okay. There's so much I don't like about the Homecoming series, but right. To the point where when he's going through the thing with Mysterio, and he sees a grave before him.
Yeah, it's Tony Stark.
It's fucking Tony Stark. It's not Uncle Ben. It's not anything like. It's not anyone that actually meant something to him. Because here's the thing: Benjamin Parker dying is literally the only reason he's Spider-Man in the first place. And Spider-Man is a tragic character at his core. He really is. Everything that he does right, something shitty still happens to him, or something happens to the people he cares about. He can't catch a break. Mm-hmm. He is, but he's still always trying to do the right thing and is doing the right thing to the best of his ability, despite of the bullshit he's going through. Oh yeah, that's what makes Spider-Man so cool, so interesting of a character. Mm-hmm. And when you take that away from him, I'm sorry. Again, nothing against the actor, nothing against any of that. The writing for Tom Holland's Spider-Man is just not there. It's just everything just goes his way. He doesn't have any fucking consequences. Nothing. Okay, like for example, really shitty scene. Tony gives him as a gift. He gives him what is it called? Is it called? I think is it called EVA? Eva, the glasses that he wears. Is that what it's called? It's like electrovisionary.
I literally almost said Alexa. Alexa. I literally almost said Alexa.
Every time you say that, I feel like my Alexa. No, I unplugged my Alexa.
But it's not Friday. I think
no, that's another thing. Far from.
Actually, it's literally.
I'm pretty sure it's called. Oh, Dita. Wait, no, that can't be right. I don't fucking edit. I don't know. I thought wasn't there something that
no, there was a name for that.
Edith. EDITH.
There we go.
That's
Edith. All right. Edith.
Even dead, I'm the hero. That's what it's called. Edith. Okay, right. Anyway, so I could have
Edith.
Yeah, Edith.
Okay.
Regardless, so he gives Spider-Man these glasses, and they're making like super power control and shit. So one of the things he does, and granted,
he has access to literally military weapons.
Granted, it's accidental, but one of the things he does is he calls a drone strike on not even the school bully, but just a guy who like might have a better chance with the girl he wants to be with. He's being a complete dick. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, one of the cool things about Spider-Man is that he is an imperfect human being. He is going to do things and fuck up and do shitty, selfish things. But he learns from it and gets better and stuff. But it's played for laughs.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you could literally kill everybody on the bus, and it's played for laughs.
And then some.
And it's like, and here's the thing too, right? This is one of the reasons I don't like the animated Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. By the way, Ultimate Spider-Man.
I love the Ultimate Spider-Man TV
I don't know how you can like Ultimate Spider-Man and then not like Spectacular Spider-Man.
Hey, he's voiced by your hero.
He is. So. I know. And it's part of why it was such a letdown for me, because I was stoked to have Drake Bell playing Spider-Man. It looked like it was animated similar to how the Teen Titans show was animated. The 2003 Teen Titans show was animated. And it was Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm very familiar with Ultimate Spider-Man from the 2005 Ultimate Spider-Man video game, as well as enough of the comics that I've read and different things of that nature. But, again, so much of the shit was played for laughs. A lot of it was cutaways. They had this stupid angel and demon on his shoulder kind of thing.
I thought it was enjoyable, to be honest.
But it's not... My problem is, it's not... Like... To me, superheroes should always have a level of seriousness, of drama and different shit. Like, I get, like, superheroes are very much marketed toward kids, and in a lot of ways are for kids or whatever. They're not really for... It's a weird, like... But, like, you take Batman the Animated Series, you take Justice League the Animated... You take Batman Beyond, you take Superman the Animated Series, you take the 2003 Teen Titans. You take Spectacular Spider-Man. Hell, you can even take fucking 90s Spider-Man.
Oh,
and
jeez.
and all of those, still have enough of a level of sincerity and like the tone is just so much better. I can't stand the tone of Ultimate Spider-Man. It pisses me off.
Wow, you really don't like it.
No, I don't. But here's the other thing. This is part of the reason I don't like it a lot as well. I personally, and it to an extent it happens in the comics and the 2005 game and all that too. Which, I mean, the game was based off of a run of the comics anyway. But I really like Spider-Man working on his own. Personally, I don't even like him being like with the Avengers and shit. I mean, I like that he's kind of like freelance. He works for them from time to time. I like that. Kind of like Daredevil does that a little bit too. But I don't like when he's constant. Like in Ultimate Spider-Man, he's constantly working with Nick Fury, like every single fucking thing.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like every now and then. Sure, every now and then, please work with Nick Fury and work with the Avengers. Fuck it, great, cool. But you're your own. He's his own man. You know, he doesn't. He's like I don't know. Like to me, I don't know. Part of I don't know. Part of the like because I don't know. Part of I know I'm saying I don't know a lot, but like. Part of what makes Spider-Man so special is he's not all his problems go away just because he's a superhero. If anything, they get worse.
Oh yeah.
So you see that like yeah, you got superpowers, yeah, you're stronger, yeah, you're this, you're But
you still got problems.
You got your money problems, you got your relationship problems, he's a human fucking being. But when you have this version of Spider-Man where all his problems are solved because he meets this high-tech super genius or
billionaire
this organization
playboy.
Or something, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
There you go.
All those different things. It just doesn't, and his problems just go away. Like that's not Spider-Man. That's not.
See now, I have the same. Well, the same scene but different thing for Spider-Man: Homecoming, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Like Flash Thompson, he wasn't a bully. He was a flop.
I know.
I was like, bro, like Flash Thompson is Peter Parker's bully, and he's a bully.
Yes.
He's not a freaking hey, what's up, dickwad? Like, yeah, dude, I'll freaking like kick you in the ribs and break all your ribs, son.
I understand what they were going for.
Like, you're not a bully, dude. You're a flop. Get out of here. I'll schmuck you down.
I understand what they were going for because they were legit.
I don't.
Well, they were trying to make him a bully, not a physical bully, and they were trying to make him like a kind of mental and emotional bully or whatever.
Because he was
supposed, there's validity to that. But like, if you want to make him a cyber bully or something like that, like,
hey Parker, nice glasses.
Don't fucking do what you did. Like he wasn't a bully. He was just kind of a tool.
Like I said, he was
like
a flop.
He wasn't right. He was just kind of a dick. He didn't really do.
Like,
but here's the cool thing about the character of Flash Thompson. Like in general, in the comics, yes, he starts as Peter's bully, but he has so much character development because he goes and fights in a war. He joins the military. He has to recuperate for a while. He ends up actually getting the Venom suit for a while.
Yeah.
And I believe... No, he's not Anti-Venom. Eddie becomes Anti-Venom. But he gets the Venom suit for a while. And Matt Gargan, Scorpion, also gets it. But more importantly, Flash Thompson gets it for a while. But he's just like anti-hero when he has it.
Yeah.
And different things. He has a lot of character development. And Flash Thompson is a good character. But and that's not Flash Thompson anyway, right? He doesn't look like Flash Thompson at all. He doesn't. But now, that is a problem I have with these characters in general.
Now, when they don't Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Flash Thompson, that was a bully. I was like, okay, here we go, an actual bully.
Yes. Right.
The latest Flash Thompson is you can just go away.
Yeah.
Go play in the kiddie pool.
And even with even in the Mark Webb Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Flash Thompson is a bully.
Exactly.
The thing is, now here's the thing, and I understand how they made how they made like Andrew's Peter Parker and stuff like that. Maybe part of the reason I like, to an extent, I wouldn't ever say I liked it better, but maybe part of the reason that I like that version of Spider-Man is because for me it's a little bit more relatable. Because, I don't know what it's like to be like a social pariah. but I know what it's like to not feel lonely and not really fit in. The funny thing, he was kind of more of like the more like kind of hipster emo kind of like, and I completely relate to that. You know, he had some friends and stuff, but overall he still felt pretty lonely and different things. But he did things like, he wasn't the one getting bullied, but he tried to stand up for the bully and then was getting shit from the bully. And to me, I like things like that. And again, partly because it's relatable for me. Mm-hmm. But like, in the comics, I'm going to keep going back to the source material. Peter Parker is this, he's kind of a lot like what we would know today as like incels or not even just that, more of a capital N capital G nice guy, where he's the kind of guy where he's like, he thinks he's above others because he's so smart in different things, and he's like, he is bullied and he is a nerd and stuff like that, but he really has a chip on his shoulder, like, because I mean in the early comics he's like, oh, I'll show them, I'll be better than, and it's like, calm the fuck. It was not until the situation with Uncle Ben, the death of Uncle Ben happens, where he gets a reality check and he's like, oh shit, like, I need to not.
See now, Uncle Ben in the Amazing Spider-Man, the second reboot.
Yes, first reboot.
Oh yeah, sorry, first reboot. My bad. Was he Asian? Uncle Ben looked Asian a little bit, or
no? I don't think so.
No. He had something weird with his eyes going on.
A way to alienate our Asian audience.
No, like honestly,
no, I know what you mean.
Because in the first, Uncle Ben was an elderly man. You know, he was.
Yeah.
But there's something with the first reboot's Uncle Ben's face.
I will say that I liked the way. I liked a lot of the Amazing. Here's the thing, to an extent, a lot of the characters in the Amazing Spider-Man, I thought were done a lot better than in the Raimi-verse, and I love the Raimi-verse. But like, okay, you got to see a hell of a lot more from Uncle Ben in the Mark Webb movie. You really did. Now, granted, Amazing Spider-Man 2, exactly. Amazing Spider-Man 2, not that great. But the first Amazing Spider-Man, really good fucking movie, in my opinion. Really good movie. In fact, when it first came out, audiences raved over it. They loved it.
I remember the first time I knew that they were doing that was on the back of a box of Life cereal. Because I saw this new Spider-Man. I was like, a new Spider-Man? And I looked up at the top, said The Amazing Spider-Man coming in September. I was like, they're making another Spider-Man?
Yeah.
What?
Well, and you know what, too? It came out at the 6th-year anniversary of the character. Because Spider-Man 2 was... Or was it 50? I'm fucking terrible at math. Spider-Man was, first came out in 1962. Let me quickly do...
And plus, I gotta say, someone's reaction when, they're...
50 years, I'm sorry, 50-year anniversary.
They see someone dying, in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, when Uncle Ben is basically already dead, and Tobey Maguire's just kind of crying, and that's really it. That's not really a reaction, I think, most people. Like,
what do you mean?
Like the reaction that Andrew Garfield had to Uncle Ben dying was like, no, please,
he's trying to stop the blood.
I feel like that was a more reasonable, kind of more life-like reaction, instead of just kneeling there, holding someone's hand, crying, and not really doing anything.
Yeah,
I just felt that was a pretty cool, relatability. Because I know for me, if I was next to someone dying, I want to be like, I'd be like, oh no, stop. Like, I'd be trying to, stop the bleeding. But so I feel like the Mark Webb reboot, Spider-Man, Uncle Ben dying, and Andrew Garfield trying to stop the bleeding, I feel like that was a more actuality.
I understand. No. There were a lot of key moments. That's the key thing, I think. A lot of characters in the Mark Webb Spider-Man movie, the first one, were more realistic, right? Yeah. That's the big thing, because you had you had the way Uncle Ben was. You had, to an extent, the argument that they had kind of made a little bit more sense. Yeah. Different things like that. And even the thing of I
actually kind of like that, to be honest.
And this is why I say there were certain things I liked. I don't want to say better, because so much of the Raimi movie was taking a lot from the 60s comics, the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko era, like, which was amazing. But in general, looking at the Mark Webb Spider-Man, just having okay, because again, you have the thing where it's like, you know, he has this blowout with his dad. He goes and he wants to get milk at a store, right? And
just getting milk. That's it.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, hey man, I'm like 2 cents short. Like, can you explain?" Like, "Nah, man. Like, fuck you." And so, you know, the guy robs him. Like, makes enough sense that he'd kind of just stand by, because he's like, well, he's not shooting. He's not actually harming the guy. He's just robbing. I mean, he's probably gonna lose his job over it or something. But, but he, you know, he's just, you know, he's like, fuck him. You know, he just, and the guy even gives him his milk. Like, well, thank you. You know. And then he goes.
Literally, it's like, hey,
yeah,
here's your milk. He's like, oh, thank you.
A lot of those things make more, especially for these days, make more sense for him to, rather than, you know, being a wrestler and all these different things. But here's a lot of the, it's funny because it was called The Amazing Spider-Man, but so much of The Amazing Spider-Man, from what I can tell, actually took, so much of the Amazing Spider-Man movie took more influence from Ultimate Spider-Man rather than it did The Amazing Spider-Man. Like the basketball thing. One of the things Peter tried to do in Ultimate Spider-Man was he did try to, and I think he did, if I remember correctly, did get on the basketball team, did dunk on Flash Thompson, you know, all those different things.
Yeah.
And, so you have, but yeah, I don't know.
It was more realistic.
It is, yeah, I mean, it is more realistic in general. Again, there are certain things that it's like, okay, how, like when he dunked, like, in front of everybody and broke the backboard and stuff, like, okay, how can you guys not put this together?
Yeah, like, literally, like, come on now.
Fucking really. You know, there were certain things, but like...
And he jumped from a distance, too. It's not like he ran up, you know, underneath the hoop and just jumped straight up. It was like, he jumped from a distance, yo. He jumped from, like, half court. Like, come on.
And I'm not sure. Let me find out real quick how tall Andrew Garfield is.
But, yeah, Sam Raimi Spider-Man, that holds...
He's your height.
Oh, is he?
He's an inch taller than me. He's 5'10".
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 5'10". Oh, God. Oh, shit.
What?
Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland are 5'8".
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm taller than all them. What you doing?
Yeah.
How tall is
Emma Stone
Andrew?
5'6". What?
How tall is Andrew Garfield, or does it?
No, I said he's 5'10".
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. So, okay, imagine yourself dunking like that, or me. I'm only an inch shorter. You know, imagine he's an average height, right? Yeah. That's the point.
Yeah.
He's can't fucking do that. Can't
like
fucking do that.
He jumped from I think it was half court.
Yeah.
Or a little bit shorter half court, but he basically jumped from half court. Like, come on, people, what you doing? Fun
fact about that way. Robert Downey Jr. is...
And he shattered the backboard.
Yes.
Like, come on, people. Like, jeez.
Real quick, by the way, Robert Downey Jr. is 5'9". He actually is my height.
Gosh.
And the reason I point that out is because the scenes where he was like with Captain America or anyone who was taller than him... Or Gwyneth Paltrow, for example, when she was playing.
She's tall.
Yeah, well, she's my height as well. But
is she really?
Yeah, 5'9". But to make him look taller than her, and to make him look as around the same height as Chris Evans and all these, because Chris Evans is 6 foot.
Thank you.
So
finally someone who's 6 foot.
Yeah, man, this is crazy looking at these people's heights. Mark Ruffalo, the guy that plays Hulk, is 5'8".
Gosh.
Yeah, Chris.
All these people are shallow.
But my point is they put Robert Downey Jr. on platform shoes so that he could look taller. Yeah. So that's funny.
Yeah, man. Basically all the Avengers you told, like this guy's that tall.
Yeah.
Like they're all short, man. Jeez.
Well, dude,
we're not short, but
they and us are average height. Like, it's just an average height. You understand? Anything 6 foot and over, like, Well, maybe not 6, maybe like 6'2", especially and over. That's tall. The average height for a male is about
6'1".
It's like, well, the average height for a male is like from like 5. It's like 5'8", I believe, to like 6'2" or something. Let me look it up real quick. I don't know shit.
Actually, I know I'm 6'1". I think
You're not 6'1".
Sorry, my bad. Miscommunication.
I
am 6 foot.
Wait, no, you're not. Yeah, you're not 5'10". You're in the 6 foot. What am I talking about?
I might be 6'1". I actually haven't measured myself in a long time, but I know I'm 6.
Oh shit! Yeah, 5'6" is the average height for men.
5'6".
Wow, that's not even. Huh. Okay. Well, there you go. 5'6", not. And then for women, it's 5'2". Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, for any non-American listeners, I don't know what height that is for any of you. We're working with feet and inches, so I don't know anything else. I'm sorry. I don't know the metric system. Or are we the metric system? I don't know whatever system is in American.
I think we're the metric system.
You're going to get people that are like, you fucking idiots. Yeah, well.
Well, tell us then, people.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think height is a good way to end this podcast.
At the height, would you say we're at the height of this episode? And
gosh,
so we should.
Jeez, the puns.
Yeah, well, you know.
But yeah, looks like we're done now.
Okay.
Anything you want to talk about Spider-Man wise?
Not Spider-Man wise.
Since this whole episode was dedicated to your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
I can go on and on and on. I will tell you. Okay, here's what I'll do real quick. I will give a brief list of my favorite of the live action movies and of the TV series.
Oh gosh.
So for me, well, and I could do it with video games too. Man, I don't know. There's so much.
Jesus.
I'll just say my favorite things with Spider-Man and my favorite incarnations, I guess, of Spider-Man.
Okay.
And that would be for movies. I gotta go with Spider-Man 2. I gotta go with Spider-Man 2 overall. For the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2. For video games, I gotta go with. Man, I don't know. Marvel Spider-Man is really good, but I also like his him in Web of Shadows a lot. I'm not sure if you've ever played that game or not, but
a little bit.
I'd probably have to go with the Marvel Spider-Man overall.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give the answers everyone's probably going to expect of me, to be honest. Because favorite incarnation of animated TV series Spider-Man, 100% Spectacular Spider-Man, hands down. Fuck it. By the way, real quick, this is part of the reason I don't like Disney. Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man ended on a cliffhanger in season 2 and was supposed to get picked up for season 3. But once Disney bought bought Marvel, they also bought the rights to Spectacular Spider-Man, so Spectacular Spider-Man couldn't continue. And then we got Ultimate Spider-Man, and sorry, like I said, I can go on and on about the shit. But the other thing that I this is important. This is a very important thing. Voting season is here.
Yes.
We have been. Voting. I've been holding off saying anything on this, but I will tell you.
Listen up.
If you are, I was about to say if you're pro-life, but that's pro-life, pro-choice. So that's not what I meant. If you're anti, I guess we'll say fascism and tyranny and stuff like that, I highly recommend. I will stress: vote blue. Or quite honestly, stay home. And that doesn't mean mail in your ballot if you're not voting blue. That just means don't vote, because I'm sorry, but
I don't have that issue.
We don't.
I'm independent.
Yeah, you're independent. You're. Maybe we'll get more in depth on this in the next episode or something, but a lot of the shit that I've seen, our current president, which hopefully at the time of this recording or not, when if people listen to this a year or so from now, won't be the president anymore. They'll be like, oh god, yeah, I can't believe he was president. But Donald Trump being president, sorry, I can't. I really can't. For me, the wake up call was his treatment of Black Lives Matter. Not even, and that was the big one, but how he's handled COVID and everything was fucking atrocious as well. So quite honestly, yeah, unless you want things to get worse, Vote blue down the ballot, fucking, because it doesn't stop at the president. There's some really shitty things some of these people want to do, and it's not good. It's not, and I know there's just this idea that people that have a platform have to encourage, go vote for whoever. I'm gonna fucking tell you who to vote for, because I'm sorry, just don't vote Trump. Just
basically,
I will end
home,
a great quote by Green Day that they chanted during their live performance of Bang Bang back in 2003. No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Stay safe.
More accurately now it would be vote him out. But yes, as always, we do very much hope that you enjoyed our ramblings about mainly Spider-Man. We talked a lot about Spider-Man.
And if you if you're a big fan of Spider-Man, drop in the comments.
Dude, I would love to have a discuss. If you have any questions or anything about I would love to have a discussion about this kind of stuff with you guys. And also, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Just
before we go,
enjoy your day and what.
Before we go,
what
I have to say, my favorite Spider-Man suit of all time. Hands down, is the original Iron Spider suit.
He means the one in the comics that debuted in Civil War.
Yes, fantastic.
I get that. No, I get that.
Fun fact. I have him as my wallpaper on my phone. Nice. From the PS4
I was going to say, I can tell that's from the suit from the PS4 game, yeah.
Favorites.
Yeah. Anyway, we're done for now. Hope you guys join us for the next episode.
Please.
We'll see you guys later. In all honesty, though, just take care of yourselves out there and treat each other well. Peace and love.
Yep. Peace.
Later, guys.